Archangel Michael says, "The same voices that once mocked your silence are now trembling in the loud echo of your name." You were the storm they thought would never make it to sunrise, but now you shine brighter than their understanding could ever handle. The heavens never left you, even in your lowest, and now justice is rising with your every breath. There was a moment when your tears fell into the dark without return. They watched and celebrated your pain as if it were entertainment. But what they didn't know was that your sorrow was the soil where your legacy was secretly being born. You were broken in places nobody could see, and they thought your silence meant surrender. But those cracks allowed the light to come in and mark you for a higher path. You weren't abandoned, you were being carved for divine unveiling. Behind closed doors, many rejoiced in your downfall. They whispered your name with laughter while your hands trembled in prayers they never saw. But your destiny was never in their hands, and now they know. Type Amen to get blessing 444. The same people who once looked down on you now look up with disbelief. Your rise has been too silent, too pure, too protected to be human. Something beyond this world has been guiding your steps. Every painful moment you lived through was watched by divine eyes. You may have cried into pillows, but angels collected every tear like treasure, and now the ones who laughed at your collapse are being haunted by your resurrection. They threw dirt on your name thinking it would bury you. But they didn't know you were a seed, meant to root, break, and bloom. Now the sound of your name reminds them of everything they failed to destroy. You were never weak, you were being trained in silence. While they showed off loud lives, yours was becoming power in disguise, and now the universe has turned the tables, and they are left speechless at your rise. Type Amen to get blessing 777. The very ones who ignored you are now watching you from behind fake smiles. Their hands tremble trying to copy your strength, but it doesn't work that way. You were chosen, by pain, by fire, by the heavens. They laughed when you had nothing. But what they missed is that your soul had everything: resilience, grace, and favor. Their ignorance has turned into obsession, trying to understand how you're still standing. You rose without revenge. You bloomed without begging. And that is what burns them the most. There is no apology for what they did, but there is evidence now, evidence that you were never the weak one. You were just the one with silent strength. Type Amen to get blessing 1221. They were wrong about you in every way. They mistook your kindness for weakness, your quiet for defeat. But they never understood who walks beside you when no one else does. There was a night when you almost gave up. They hoped you would. But something divine pulled you from the edge and whispered, "Not yet." And that whisper became your war cry. That whisper carried you through battles they would have crumbled under. That whisper was heaven's way of saying, "You're not done, you outgrew the cage they tried to trap you in. You outshined the darkness they wanted you stuck in. You escaped the narrative they created with lies." Type Amen to get blessing 999. Your footsteps now echo in places they never imagined you'd reach. Your presence now disrupts the spaces they wanted you erased from. They tried to unwrite your future, but the ink of the divine cannot be deleted. The same people who watched you break are now haunted by the pieces they thought you'd never put back together. You didn't just rise, you resurrected, you became everything they said you'd never be. Their shame is now growing like weeds in the gardens they once stood in proudly. Because you were the soil they trampled, and now you've become the forest they can't see past. The tables have not only turned, they've flipped so hard their pride is now pinned beneath them. You gave them no revenge. You gave them something worse, your silence, your peace, your elevation. Type Amen to get blessing 303. They underestimated the power of a person who cried in secret but healed in spirit. You didn't just walk away, you flew. And now the skies that once thundered over your head bow to your rise. There is a moment approaching soon where one of them will reach out to you. Not in kindness, but in hidden jealousy masked as fake concern. Be still, your silence is stronger than their voice. They don't want your forgiveness. They want your energy again. Because they felt powerful when you were broken and lost. You owe them nothing, not even a conversation. You are proof that what they destroyed was never the full story. Type Amen to get blessing 1444. You are no longer the same. Your energy has shifted so powerfully that even the air around you feels sacred, and those who once laughed now fear the glow they see in your eyes. There's something coming that they will try to take credit for. But don't let them. They had nothing to do with your victory. They were the reason it had to exist. They're afraid now. Afraid because they realize that every time they cursed your name, they cursed their own path. Every stone they threw built the foundation you now stand on. You're a divine echo of everything they failed to destroy. You are walking proof that pain doesn't end you, it expands you. Type Amen to get blessing 828. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. Archangel Michael says, they laughed too soon. Their laughter was built on illusion. Yours is rooted in truth, earned through fire, and blessed through storms. They are now looking back at moments they mocked and realizing. Those were the moments you became unstoppable. What they took as weakness was divine recalibration. And now, you are the force they can't outrun. Somewhere right now, they're speaking your name, not in mockery, but in panic. Because your name now rings with power they can't understand. The tables didn't just turn, they shattered. You were the one they thought they buried, but you're the bloom that broke through stone. Type Amen to get blessing 454. There are conversations happening behind closed doors, conversations where your name is followed by silence. Because no one knows how to explain your rise. They thought you'd stay beneath their shoes, but instead, you've risen so high. Even their words can't reach you. You were underestimated, and now, undeniable. Archangel Michael says, don't lower your energy to confront the past is choking on the dust you left behind. You are a walking victory, and they can't erase what they failed to stop. Let them watch, let them whisper. You were never meant to prove, just to shine. Type Amen to get blessing 633. They laugh less now. Because your name brings thunder in their world. What once entertained them now terrifies them, they want access again. Not because they care, but because they sense your time is near. But your soul knows, they're not worthy of the next chapter. You are now the message. You are now the proof. You are now the storm and the calm, stay elevated. Stay silent. Stay chosen. Type Amen to get blessing 929. You've stepped into a version of yourself they never believed would exist. They expected the pain to paralyze you, but instead, it polished your soul. They expected silence to consume you, but instead, it carved out your strength. Your glow is not just brightness. It's the reflection of every dark night you survived. You are no longer fragile. You are flame and wind and thunder wrapped in peace. They now rehearse the moments they wronged you. They wish they could go back and act differently. But divine justice doesn't rewind, it reveals. And what's revealing now is shocking to them. The one they tried to bury is now the one they watch rising with grace. Every step you take is thunder to their regrets. Type Amen to get blessing 522. A storm is coming, but this time, it's not for you. It's for those who laughed while you bled. It's for those who watched your pain and smiled. You're not the same soul they mistreated. You're no longer carrying the weight of their betrayal. You've shed their poison and replaced it with divine protection. They whispered against you, but now your name is shouted in places they can't enter. Your light makes them uncomfortable because it exposes their shadows. And no matter how hard they try, they can't block a destiny written by heavenly hands. People who used to call you broken now call you unstoppable. The irony is loud. Type Amen to get blessing 117. One of them is crying tonight, not for you, but because of you. They realized too late that your absence is a silence too powerful to bear. You were the blessing they took for granted. You don't owe them understanding. You don't owe them closure. What you owe is loyalty to the version of you that fought silently in the dark. There's a reunion trying to form, but it's not sacred, it's strategic. Be alert. Not all apologies are pure. Some want to return not to heal, but to reopen old wounds. Type Amen to get blessing 500. Archangel Michael says, do not entertain what the heavens have already removed. When God separates, man cannot reattach. What they're feeling now is not karma. It's truth. You are now becoming what they laughed at. You are the result of what they tried to kill in spirit. They should have never made a joke of your tears. One woman among them can no longer sleep. She laughed the hardest. But now your name appears even in her dreams. You have become a living reminder of everything they underestimated. Type Amen to get blessing 366. You didn't scream for attention, and yet attention follows you. You didn't fight for love, they withdrew it, and you gave that love to yourself. And now the glow in your eyes is a mirror they can't escape. Your silence is gold, your absence is power. Your peace is justice. They thought you needed them to survive, but now they know, you were the foundation beneath their own fragile confidence. They laughed when you cried, but now your laughter burns their pride. The roles have reversed. You are the light now shining in the place they tried to keep dim. Type Amen to get blessing 606. Their conversations are filled with your name, because you've become the lesson they didn't want to learn. You are their regret. You are the what if that won't fade. Someone who once looked down on you will soon need your help, but your spirit will know. Mercy doesn't mean returning to the fire. You have a responsibility to protect your healed self. One of them is now publicly pretending they supported you, but they forget, heaven keeps receipts. And those receipts are now echoing back in your favor. Everything hidden is coming into light. Type Amen to get blessing 747. They cried tears of mockery when you were down. But now those tears have returned, and this time, they're the ones weeping. Your success was never meant to be revenge. But it became the evidence. They don't want to believe you rose without them, they don't want to believe your glow is real. But it is, and it's untouched by their hands. You are an answered prayer, wrapped in resilience. You are the warrior they never thought would stand again. But here you are. Rising in silence, shining in power, walking in victory. Their judgment was flawed, your journey was flawless. Type Amen to get blessing 808. You no longer have to defend who you are, your presence is enough. Your story speaks even when your lips stay quiet. There is one who once laughed but now prays for a way to be near you again, but they cannot find a door, because your energy no longer opens to betrayal. And that is their silent punishment. Let them feel the space you left behind, let them taste the emptiness of their own laughter. You've moved forward, and heaven moved with you. Archangel Michael says, your enemies underestimated how favored you really are, they touched your heart with unclean hands. And now they answer for it. Type Amen to get blessing 373, there's something sacred unfolding now. Your name is entering rooms your body hasn't even walked into yet. You are being spoken about with respect where they once mocked you. The shift is loud. You don't need validation, the energy speaks for itself. And the people who laughed are now silent with disbelief, let them see you. Let them remember what they said. Let them feel the sting of your success, you have no revenge in your spirit. Only elevation. Type Amen to get blessing 199. Everything they said about you, they now wish they could take back. But words carry energy, and that energy has built your eyes. You have turned curses into crowns. You are not the storm. You are the one who survived it. And the memory of you crying is now the image that haunts their sleep, let them wonder how you did it. Let them study your silence. But never let them close enough to shake your peace again, you are a fortress now, not just a soul. Type Amen to get blessing 1223. The shift isn't coming, it already arrived, you are no longer someone they can overlook. You are now the proof of divine reversal. Keep rising, keep glowing. Keep living in a way that requires no announcement. They know, they feel it. And they'll never forget how they laughed, only to find themselves crying. You don't have to look back anymore, because everything behind you is fading. The people who mocked you now carry the weight of your name like a chain. They mocked a season, but they didn't see the destiny. You were never meant to be understood by them, you were meant to outgrow them, to become the miracle in motion they never expected. Their words are falling flat now while your life is rising like prophecy fulfilled. What once made you weep now makes you wiser, what once made you doubt now makes you divine. You were born for the moment they never believed you'd reach. Let their confusion grow, let their silence stretch. You don't owe them clarity, only distance. Type Amen to get blessing 411, you have entered a timeline where you are no longer available for manipulation. Their tactics don't work anymore. Their games crumble in the presence of your awareness. They once celebrated your delay, but now they dread your acceleration. You've surpassed them without trying. You've become the version of yourself that can't be accessed by fake apologies. Your glow is not for them. It's for the roads you fought to walk alone, and now, someone from that mocking crowd watches you in secret. Their pride won't allow them to admit it, but your strength silences their soul. Type Amen to get blessing 1440. The pain they once laughed at built you like fire forges gold. Every wound was a password into your power. Every heartbreak, a door into your calling. The laughs that echoed in your past are now swallowed by your glow. They feel the heat of your name burning through the illusions they tried to cast over you. Your light exposes everything they tried to keep hidden. One by one, they are being reminded of their cruelty, not through revenge, but through your evolution. You've become what they feared most, a version of you they can never reach again. You are no longer waiting for apologies. You've upgraded into peace they can't disturb. Type Amen to get blessing 688. Archangel Michael says, they played with fire when they played with your heart, and now the flames of divine consequence are surrounding their path. Not to burn them, but to wake them. They laughed when you broke, but now you break every curse they tried to place on you. Their energy cannot withstand the new air you breathe. You carry the vibration of divine reversal. You are wrapped in a light they cannot dim. Their attempts now look like shadows trembling before your sunrise. And every time they speak of you now, it carries a tremor of regret. You are not their memory, you are their lesson. Type Amen to get blessing 1211. They thought you'd come crawling back. Instead, you climbed forward. And now they have to live with the reality that your back will be the last thing they see. Their guilt is louder than their laughter now, their confusion deeper than your past sorrow. They created the distance, but your growth expanded the gap. Someone who laughed the hardest is now crying in silence, watching your glow from fake profiles, replaying memories where they mocked your pain, now haunted by your strength. Let them cry, it's the only way their soul might finally feel the weight of what they did. Type Amen to get blessing 533. Your story has flipped the narrative. You were not broken, you were in becoming. You were not fragile, you were rising slowly, steadily, purposefully. They can't laugh anymore, their joy came at your expense, but now the cost is too great. The heavens have removed their access. They see you everywhere, on timelines, in whispers, in the eyes of those they respect. You've become unavoidable. And your silence is more powerful than their loudest judgment. You didn't chase revenge, you chased healing. And healing turned you into something untouchable. Type Amen to get blessing 2220. One person who laughed behind your back is now obsessed with your journey. They check your name daily, hoping to find you struggling. But instead, all they see is your steady rise. They're scared now. Scared that you know. Scared that heaven knows, your rise is not for show, it's sacred. It was promised when you cried. It was sealed when they mocked, and now, your name is gaining weight in places they've been shut out of. The same rooms they tried to block you from now echo with your purpose. Type Amen to get blessing 363. Your power makes them restless. Not because of pride, but because of exposure. They know they lost something they'll never see again. You were the heart they could have honored. But they chose to mock it. And now the universe has honored you in ways they cannot reach. Archangel Michael says, you were always the one. Even when they made you feel like the last. Your return is the divine response to their ignorance. Let their minds wrestle with your light. It is justice in its most graceful form. Type Amen to get blessing 989. Even now, some will come with offers cloaked as apologies. But their motives are not pure. The pain they caused is still hanging in the air between you. Don't return to broken tables. You are now a feast of light they can only watch from afar. You were not built for breadcrumbs, you walked through fire, and now your aura carries flame. They can feel it. It chokes the air when they speak your name. Let them see what divine favor looks like. Let them feel the silence of a soul they once mocked but can never reach again. Type Amen to get blessing 244. You have entered your vindication season. You no longer need to explain, prove, or fix anything. Your existence is proof of everything they couldn't destroy. They mocked your struggle. But now your success mocks their shallow souls. You are the prophecy they never wanted to believe. Each day you rise higher, another lie they told collapses. Each time you smile, another regret pierces their conscience. And you didn't have to lift a single weapon, you healed. And that was the ultimate victory. Type Amen to get blessing 2002. They thought your pain would make you bitter. But it made you better. It made you golden. You are divine retaliation, walking gently through life. A calm fire. A quiet storm, a miracle in motion. Your rise is not noise, it is sound. It vibrates through everything they built on lies. They are no longer laughing. They are watching. And they are realizing, they should have never mocked the one chosen for elevation. Type Amen to get blessing 5005. You are now the mirror they avoid, not because of hate, but because of shame. Your elevation has exposed every lie they wrapped around your name. The very people who doubted you now bow before the reality they tried to deny. One of them scrolls through your updates with a heart full of regrets. They see the peace in your smile, and it tortures what's left of their pride, because deep down, they know, they had a front row seat to your fall and still chose to laugh. The glow you wear today wasn't bought. It was born in nights of weeping, praying, and aching in silence, but silence is where warriors are formed, and you became one. Type Amen to get blessing 844. You are the result of resilience wrapped in stillness. They couldn't hear your scream because you didn't make one. Instead, you rebuilt in silence, and now, they scream in disbelief. What they once considered weakness has become your weapon. The softness they despised became the strength that lifted you beyond reach. You were always powerful, they were just blind to it. They're not just crying because you rose, they're crying because you rose without them. They thought they were the chapter, when in fact, they were just punctuation. There's no room for their noise anymore. Your soul has graduated into realms their energy can't enter. Type Amen to get blessing 711. Archangel Michael says, let them sit in the silence they once forced you into, let them drown in the echo of your absence. They had the chance to honor your heart, but they gambled with cruelty. Your name is now sacred. It carries weight, light, and meaning that only time could carve. You're not just known, you're remembered. Each step you take forward now erases 100 steps they tried to block. You're not rushing, you're glowing in your lane. And the heavens are guarding it with fire. You are not rising, you have risen. Type Amen to get blessing 9292. And yet, look at how calm your soul is, look at how you no longer chase, beg, or explain. You simply live, and your existence now unsettles the ones who mocked you. There is one among them who wishes they had never opened their mouth. They remember your eyes when you were in pain. And now they can't forget them. Because those same eyes now carry victory. They know you won't come back. They know even if they apologize, the season is over. Their access expired the moment they turned your tears into jokes. Now they understand, you were the blessing they failed to protect. Type Amen to get blessing 1234. You're not arrogant, you're protected. There is a stillness around you that no chaos can touch. Even when they try to speak on your name now, their tongues twist, the lies fall flat. Because truth shines too loud to be buried anymore. What they meant for harm has become your holy armor. The backstabbing, the mocking, the smirks, they were bricks that built your fortress. You walk differently now. And it shows. Type Amen to get blessing 4747. They underestimated how deeply you were loved by the divine. They thought you were alone, but your protection was invisible, not absent. Archangel Michael was watching it all. The way they conspired, the way they gathered, the way they laughed. Heaven saw every shadow move, and now, your enemies are being exposed. Not with thunder, but with light. Your light, the same one they laughed at when it was dim. They didn't know what you carried. But now that you shine, they can't stand to watch. Type Amen to get blessing 1717. Let them remember your name, not because you stayed bitter, but because you became better. You didn't burn bridges, you built gates. And those gates are locked to anyone who dishonored your soul. A stranger is about to speak your name in a room meant for elevation, and it will shock those who thought they buried your reputation. Your glow is not revenge, it's restoration. And it's louder than any scream you ever held back. Let your light haunt their shadows. That's not spite. That's divine alignment. Type Amen to get blessing 3000. They wanted to keep you small, invisible, controlled. But every time you chose peace instead of pain, you grew wings, and now your wings are showing. There's nothing they can do now. You've become untouchable. You've crossed into the version of yourself that they mocked the idea of. And what's worse for them is that you didn't need an audience to rise. You bloomed in silence, and now, they must watch with their own eyes what they said would never happen. Their tears won't cleanse what they did. But your healing already has. Type Amen to get blessing 2211.